Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Today I got a fun parcel in the mailbox. Sometimes I get racket packages. As you might know, there's rackets going in and out, trading, selling, buying, and getting demos for review. This time it was a patron of Tennis Nerd. Please join patreon.com/tennisnerd. It's a great thing. You help me out and you get some extra content and some support in your racket decisions. Anyway, so Justin decided to send me this one. It's a Babolat VS Control. It's I'm not sure exactly the age. I would guess early 2000, late 90s. And it's a very interesting spec. And what I like about this one, I mean, first, thanks, Justin. This is awesome. And you know I like old school frames. If you do, please click like, subscribe, and so on. I know there are a lot of old school racket fans following me, so I really appreciate that. I think we're like-minded. This racket, NOS, they usually call them, new old stock. Might be better to just keep it like this because it looks so great. Even the extra grommet here is included. But you know me, I need to test the frame. I can't just hang it on the wall. So I'm very curious to take this one out, and I got some interesting feedback on Instagram, players that have used this and really love this frame. So really excited to string it up and take it out on the tennis court soon. The weather is really suspicious here in Malta. Usually it's just sunny every day. And now we have these, you know, you look at the iPhone app and there's rain clouds every day. It's not raining all the time, but just the risk of rain is always there, hovering, and there's a lot of cloudy days. We're not used to that. We're a bit spoiled, and that's why we live here. So, yeah, a little bit of a shame this November, October period. It's been pretty dreary for Malta standards. Anyway, let's talk about what this is. So it's a Babolat VS Control. The VS line is still going strong with Babolat. And if you look on my Instagram account, you will see that my buddy Henrik has received a Babolat Pure Strike VS to test. It's going to be released in 2022, likely January, I assume. And it looks great in my mind. How does it play? What are the specs? Yeah, the specs you can read here. They're not that far from this one, actually. But I don't know the flex 100%. So I'm really keen to know the flex and the swing weight of the racket, which is what they don't list. So I hope that the manufacturers start listing these things. So this one, then, the VS Control, the old school one, the grommet is in my face. We turn it around, and it still has this lovely explanation of what's going on here. They really push the woofer technology here. So a conventional racket, a woofer racket kind of has more of a bendy string bed. That's the idea. It has a pulley function, more string working, sweet spot enlarged. And it has also a pump action in the grommet, so vibration dampening, power increased. Quite a lot of claims for this kind of grommet design. But the specs of this VS Control is 310 grams unstrung, spot on pretty much for me. 97 square inch head size, 64 RA, so you add strings, you're down to 61. Plush feel, buttery on impact. 21.5 millimeter throughout the beam. That's very nice. And an unstrung balance of 31.5 centimeters. They added the swing weight to this frame. Thanks. I've been complaining about that in previous videos. Why don't they add the swing weight these days? And back then they did it. So this has 300 swing weight. So we add strings, it's going to be 330 approx, maybe a little bit more. So it will be solid, and the benefits of this frame, according to Babolat themselves, is ultimate ball control. It is going to be an advanced control stick for sure, maximum ball feel and maximum comfort. So typically the frame I like. What's the thing with a grommet hanging from a frame like this? I wondered. I mean, just a nice bonus, and it looks great, and it's a nice addition. But it's even better than that, because this one actually weighs more. So it says more power on there. And that means you're going to add the swing weight to the frame with this grommet over the standard. So this is just a very smart idea that I haven't seen since. So I don't know, are we regressing in racket design? Maybe not, but we're not developing that much either. Rackets have not moved so much far ahead in certain cases, and I do like that when they have, for example, Donny, they have to have a trapdoor that's heavier for more weight in the handle, and then you could have a heavier grommet, so you could actually pick your spec a little bit. So if you had a butt cap that's heavier and you had a grommet that's heavier, you can then like tweak the frame quite a bit Excellent idea, love it. Bit surprised that we don't see more of these kind of basic but logical innovations in the racket world. So the Babolat VS Control woofer, the first interactive racket, la première raquette interactive. Probably bad pronunciation there, but I don't know the French language that well, but I do like to listen to it. Very interesting for me to try this now. That's a review to come, of course. I can't really contain my excitement to play these new rackets. That's why I am a licensed tennis nerd. So big thanks to you, Justin, for sending that frame. Really happy. And I also got a really nice handwritten letter. Like, look at this handwriting. It's beautiful. I mean, like, I really like handwriting, but my handwriting looks like a drunk doctor's. But this one is awesome. So yeah, impressive stuff. Nice letter, nice gift, NOS. Can't complain about my patrons. They're great. A guy that is not a patron, but a nice guy called Wolfgang. He has sent me another racket, so I love this stuff. Please keep it up, no pressure. When I get rackets in the mail, and this one is funny. It's a old head Radical Junior racket that he has then extended to a standard length. And this mold is like TK65 for you head nerds, something like that. He is more aware than I am. I talked before about like a VS Babolat on the Tennis Warehouse forums. He seems to know everything about head history. He bumped it up to my swing weight, made the pallet my kind of L2 TK82S shape that I prefer, and went for a string, a hybrid string. It looks like Lynx Tour and something else in the crosses I don't remember. But it's 102 square inch head size, 1819 pattern, and nice semi-thin beam, 22 millimeters, similar to a 6195 from Wilson, for example. That kind of a bit more beefy, you know, like the new Prestige Tour, that's 95 square inch, has a little bit of a thicker beam for more pop on your shots. So, and I took this one out, and I, you know, obviously I'm skeptical if someone makes their own weird racket like this. But it played amazing. I mean, I was really, really impressed by how this racket played. I like in the first 20 minutes, I just felt like I couldn't miss a ball. So definitely a very interesting frame, and I like these guys that kind of create their own rackets and experiment. And yeah, if you have any experiments you're doing, please share them with me, and I'll make sure to share them on Tennis Nerd. So yeah, the Radical Junior, customized, and if you follow this blog site for a while, you know that I like a 330 strung swing weight, and that's what he did for me, and it's just perfect. I really like it. He added a bunch of lead tape up here to bump up the swing weight. 1819 pattern is kind of perfect on these 100 square inch plus frames, and yeah, I think they nail it. I mean, most of us old head fans, I mean, we know how great these older frames play, and although the newer heads are really nice rackets, mainly because they're kind of a throwback but a little bit of a modern approach, they're not quite on par in the feeling department. The feel department of these older frames, I don't know, they're just very hard to beat. That kind of, it's just like that pure graphite sensation, or Touron if you like that, the Pro Tour. I'm having a bit of a love affair briefly with the iPrestige. I sold one stupidly, and now I only have one, so if you have one to sell, let me know. But yeah, so I took it out just for fun, because I got into the mood of vintage frames again after playing with the twist power and so on. I talked about that in my previous video, and I was just having a blast and really hitting my spots. Will it be that way next time? Was this some kind of honeymoon, or, you know, when you reignite an old flame? Maybe that's the best way of putting it. I don't know. I will try to take it out tomorrow unless it rains, and we'll see if I can kind of mimic that experience of playing with the iPrestige MP. I also have a few iPrestige mids that are great, but I find the mid-size rackets a little bit harder to convert into modern tennis. And I do prefer the MP in this case. Yeah, so some old school head classics and a Babolat VS woofer, as well as looking at the VS Pure Strike. Very curious about that frame. I heard some rumors that Babolat might be going towards a softer racket. I don't know in how many videos and posts I've been complaining about the stiffness overall if you look at the Babolat range of rackets. So I hope they listen, maybe not to me, but to general demand, and find it in them to create, you know, another Pure Control, line or something that's maybe a little bit modern, but at least there's something there for the players that look for more touch and feel and not such a high stiffness from the frame. I think that would be a good decision. Maybe it's not that easy to sell these rackets in hordes, but I guess since you have head keeping the prestige line and the gravity is pretty low powered as well, why not Babolat? You know, all the rackets don't need to have a 66, 67 strung stiffness. You know, I think that's generally what it is. Everything is above 65. And that's not great for most players' elbows unless you have really perfect technique and you have no issues. But for many players, it becomes an issue over time. So I would love to see a more control-oriented, flexible Babolat range. All right, so old school frames. Do you love them as much as I do? Which ones are your favorite? Would you like me to review some classic rackets? I've done a few classic rackets reviews previously, and I'll happily do more. Definitely going to try the VS Control. Are there other frames I should check out that I haven't covered? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video interesting. Please support me on Patreon. As I said before, patreon.com/tennisnerd. It means a lot. And also please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all that jazz. Also, if you want to buy a racket, check out my affiliates in the description below, along with Top Court, Swing Vision. Use my links. I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. That's all I wanted to say today. Have a nice one, and don't forget to play some tennis.